you can't just assume if they come through the door, we've got them for life. They don't. They will churn. I promise you that interest is like hot food.
Welcome to Apptivate, the mobile marketing podcast brought to you by the app retargeting experts at Remerge. Listen to what's working in mobile marketing today from the people who are doing it now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Apptivate. I'm Patrick Eichmann, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Irwin Hau. Irwin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. We were just talking a little bit before hitting record, but tell everyone a little bit about yourself and where you reside.
Yeah, for sure. My name's Irwin. Irwin is in Steve Irwin, and don't know if you know the crocodile hunter, with the Australian accent, but I am from Australia, Melbourne. I actually come from an ad agency background, so I used to work for the two top ad agencies here in Melbourne, Australia, and decided rather than work for the man, I'd be the man. So I ended up starting my own agency, and we designed websites and also web applications and apps and things like that. But we also then decided to make our own SaaS company, helping people with conversion, because there's a lot of human psychology thinking in conversion. And I think a lot of people, they just want their phones to ring, people to sign up, and people to hit that kind of install button. So that's what we do now. And it's been 17 years. And like I said, my hair started about here when we first started. So it's been a long time doing all this. So good times ahead.
That's amazing. And so talk a little bit about the two business. So the first agency that you started was Chromatix, is that correct? And
That's
then the
correct.
SaaS business is ConversionCow.
That's correct. Yeah. So Chromatix is a digital agency that we started. And we just saw the need of having come from an ad agency background where they spent multi-millions of dollars in digital on websites and apps and stuff like that. We just want to kind of bring that big level thinking to the little guys as well. I think everyone deserves a good design, and just really pressing into really the science behind design. And that's actually what Chromatix actually means, the science of colors. And so we really want to play on the holistic thinking of human psychology, human behavior, and really lean on just that natural behavior side of how we design, not just pretty fonts and colors and just general marketing. And it was actually during that time of analyzing 60,000 plus, designs and websites that we've kind of learnt what actually works and what doesn't when it comes to making someone engage with you. And I think it's really important when it comes to, app marketing, to maybe a website, in general marketing, I guess. And so we decided to productize our philosophy, turn it into a little product that you could actually put on websites. And that website could be a SaaS website, a service website. It could be an app, a marketing website, sort of thing. And there's 4 key principles that we realize that people always tend to forget. Who are you? What do you do? Why should I choose you? And how do I download or how do I install, sort of thing. And so we just want to simplify that, and ConversionCow was born. So that's it. Yeah, little pop out for a website. That's
it. So that's a pretty cool origin story. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, specifically around the traffic and converting that traffic. In our world, we're spending a lot of our time talking to mobile marketers that are, working with, whether it's a game or whatever it may be as an app. And we certainly see that the first moment or first area of marketing really tends to be focused on acquisition, right? You want to get as many users in the app as possible. And more often what we hear now is that depending on the maturity of the app, you want to look at different ways of then trying to find optimization around the current audience that is already consuming and with your app itself, right? And so when I was reading a little bit about ConversionCow, it certainly seemed to me that, businesses are, obsessed, with getting traffic to their app, but they're less focused maybe at times of monetizing that existing traffic. And I'm guessing that you see this too. So I was curious a little bit about how you go about convincing skeptical marketers to spend more time on that conversion aspect of things.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you hit on the head. There's a formula that we always teach that, traffic times conversion rate equals customers. And we spend so much money, so much time on the marketing side, and we end up burning so many dollars, not realizing something that my daughter when she was in kinder taught me. She said, "Dad, I've just worked out Zero times a huge number equals zero. So it times any number. So Dad, give me a number, I'll multiply it by zero, and I'll tell you the answer. And I think that really stuck with me, because I think we spend so much time on this traffic, but if we don't convert it, don't get someone to install and so forth, we're in trouble. And so there's actually three key areas that we've found that kind of falls down from a marketing perspective when it comes to conversion. And it's kind of pretty simple. The first one is actually the clarity of the problem that you solve. So a lot of apps are fantastic, and they're feature packed and they're full of goodies. But I need this one liner that kind of explains who you are, what you do, in a simple, quick, and concise way. So if you cannot explain your app in less than 7 words, I think you're waffling, sort of thing. And
Mhm.
my wife says it the best to me. Sometimes I explain something to her, and she goes, "What are you trying to say, Irwin?" And I said, "Well, I was just trying to say X, Y, Z." And I say it in less than 7 words. And she goes, "Well, why didn't you just say that?" And I think we have to look at our app marketing and go, hey, are we as clear with
Mhm.
articulating the problem that we solve and how it will help the user? So the first one's clarity. I might just jump through all of them and stuff
Sure.
just to make it easier. But the first one
Yeah.
is clarity and message. The second is actually social proof. Everyone has a claim. Oh, our app is the best in XYZ compared to X. Well, that's just a claim. Where's the proof? So, is it in a testimonial? Is it in is it in a video? Is it whatever the proof is? Used by, as featured on, helped solve this problem. Here's the results. We definitely need proof. And my problem in this world at the moment is not that we don't have proof. It's a term we coined as proof density. We need more proof on top of it, because everyone's got bits and bobs and stuff like that. We really need to really pack out with a lot of proof. And the last one's a really simple one. It's like going on a date but forgetting to ask for the phone number at the end. It's kind of like you tell people how awesome your app is, but you don't really make it easy for them to install or find where it is on the App Store or XYZ. It's a call to action, as we say.
Mhm.
Um, and I know it's not just directly on apps when you're trying to get people on, but even if for some apps, depending if which industries you're in, if you're doing B2B SaaS apps, if you're doing finance, consumer, health, those kind of apps, they actually push to a website where people are trying to find that information. So even app websites, that is, you need to make sure there's clarity, there's proof, and really clear call to actions. They're the big ones that people forget because they're looking at traffic. So yeah.
Right. I like that. I'm going to use that.
Oh, hey, it's all yours
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. In the audience, right? But yeah, I
100%.
like that. The clarity, the focus on value exchange really is what needs to happen there. And so across these three pillars, right? That's a lot of information to get in front of a consumer. Again, thinking in the app world, you're on your phone, you have a very limited attention span, right? What have you
Mm,
found as being the best way of delivering against those three pillars?
yeah.
Is there
As
specific
much,
creative units that you find to be more valuable by those pillars, or
yeah, yeah,
curious?
yeah. It's actually not as long. I mean, maybe my explanation might sound a bit longer, but you really can nail it in this way. And I hope if you're listening and you do have an app and stuff like that, with your clarity message, like I said, 7 words or less. If you can get it there, okay, maybe I'll give you 10. If you're twisting my arm, I'll give you 3 more extra words. But if you can't explain your app, the problem it solves, and even the result of what you can get, then we're in trouble, right? And so say for example, you can even see it behind me. For ConversionCow, it's increase your chances of getting more leads. That's really the problem we solve. So if that's you, then use ConversionCow on your website. That's what we made, right? So nice and short and sharp. With the proof, you can actually use dot points. So funny enough, what's behind me is you've got the key message, you've got some dot points. So, what are your dot points? What is the proof? So, are you leveraging off some like a big brand? Has someone else had a good result? Is it a testimonial? What is it? You just need a couple of key facts and figures, stats and statistics, just to really punch it. And that could be in a descriptor. I remember looking on iTunes at an app the other day, and they just had a one-liner, 2, 3 dot points, and then download button. That was it. And I think that's all it needs to be. You should be able to explain your app sales pitch, conversion pitch, in literally maybe 5 lines with a call to action. and you're done. So it's as simple and as quick as that. But remember, this is more sales thinking. We have to
Hmm.
remember, we're not just making an app and presenting it and assuming people understand us. We really want to make sure it's clear, quick, and concise. That's it. Mm.
Got it. And so, tell me, where do you think then folks get it so wrong?
Yeah,
Is it because it's not as concise as it should be, or
no, no.
any?
I I remember making my first app. And do you know what I loved about my app? I loved the features. I
Mhm.
love going into all the different features and the functions. And hey, can I just show you the back end? Because I have spent so many hours on the UI and the UX, and we kind of fall into that side. But you do remember people download apps because there's a problem that it solves.
Mhm.
And it's great to know your features and your benefits and that, but I'm going to discover them along the journey once I've installed, download, I follow your little tutorial and so forth. And of course, I do need to mention them. But remember, everyone has a problem and they want a solution, and they're hoping it's you. And they just want to make sure that it's the right fit, because that's the first step. Remember, acquisition is the first step. Once I've got you on that first date, onto the second, on the second date, we're going to unpack it a little bit more. We're going to go into the features and functions. And so let's really focus on what the customer's problem is
Mhm.
before we actually go into the depths of what we like, sort of thing, which is the build side.
Right, right. So that's a good segue. So let's say you've done a good job of acquisition, right? So in the case of apps, you have a steady flow of installs coming through on a daily, monthly basis.
Awesome.
But yeah, right. That's great. But what you're starting to look at in your analytics is that the conversion thereafter, right? So maybe it's a registration that needs to happen. Maybe it's a first deposit or a first order. Oftentimes, the marketers that we work with, that's where they're really struggling. And so I was wondering if you could just speak to how you would go about solving that problem of you have a really strong, you know, pipeline, top line of installs coming through, but the value exchange maybe isn't there, or the user is not performing that specific KPI, that action you need them to perform in order to really unlock all that value. How
Yeah.
have you explored that or addressed that?
Yeah. Conversion to me is not a once off thing. There's different conversion points. There's a conversion from that interest when you first kind of meet the app. There's the I've now downloaded, it's now on my phone, but I guess that initial engagement side. But then also that flow onto how do I keep the person using it? Do they even understand? Have they even used the fullness of the app? And how do you keep them engaged and download, as opposed to, oh, I've downloaded, yeah, great, but then I churn and I'm off. Data and continuous tracking is the most important thing when it comes to conversion on a website. You can't just assume if they come through the door, we've got them for life. They don't. They will churn. I promise you that interest is like hot food. It will
Hmm.
go cold very fast, and your job is to keep warming it. And so a couple of things we always say, assuming that we're past the initial acquisition part. How good's your tutorial? How many people actually train people on the app on what to do, where to go, what to click? Because now that I've got you, I can hit you with the features. Do you
Hmm.
have tutorials in the form of videos? Do you have help icons that kind of pop up? Do you have help messages that kind of guide people? Can I even find the help in the first place that I can get through? And it depends on what kind of app. If we're talking about a game as opposed to like a SaaS or a B2B or finance app, they're all slightly different, but there's always some sort of what I call education element at the start. So how
Hmm.
good is that? If your education's poor, people aren't going to know what to do. That's when they drop off. The second is, as they're using it now, are you continuously alerting people, notifying, showing? So I know that with my Duolingo app, mate, it tells me every single day, I better play, else I'm going to lose my streak of 1,000, whatever it is nowadays, and stuff like that. And it drives me bonkers, but hey, I still do it because I don't want to lose my streak and have my daughters beat me and stuff like that. But in terms of these push notifications, how
Hmm.
are we doing things in a way that we continuously engage? I think that's really important. But then we also want all that shareability as well. So just because
Hmm.
I'm using it, that's one thing. We also have to continue be reminded that no, actually, I want to get other people involved. So it's what we call growth hacking. And so we
Hmm.
really want to think of how do we not just get me using it, but me to go, oh, hey, Patrick, you should use this. Hey, how do I share it as well? And as long as we keep them happy in the ecosystem through maybe through gamification, awards or what I call mental rewards and stuff like that, I think we're pretty good. So convert, and then as my point at the very beginning is track your conversions at each point, see how users are using it, and in particular, if before you launch an app, definitely even get user testing happening where you're actually
Hmm.
watching how a user uses it. Don't say a
Yeah.
word, no hints, just watch how they use it, and that's also a great a method of testing. Mm.
So you brought up Duolingo, and I'm very
Mhm.
familiar. I've used it in the past. My kids also use it, and I'm very familiar with their experience, the user experience. Who else is it doing it really well from an app perspective?
Oh, I like Duolingo the most, and the reason why I always use that example is because of the push notification
Yeah.
and the gamification of things. I think it's really smart because they know once I break that streak, I'm gone because I've kind of lost it. So they know how to hook you back in. They know how to make you work with other people. So you're leveraging together and that group mentality and stuff like that. That's my favorite one. There is another one, but it's actually more. Uh, actually a new startup here in Australia called it
Oh, okay.
My Drive Hero. It's called My Drive Hero. It pays you to drive safely. That's the
Oh,
pitch. Get paid to drive safely. Sign up in less than 60 seconds, and away you go. So that's a really quick, clear message. I hope I did them justice, by the way, by doing it, by saying that. And can I just say, I've been driving safely. That's why it works really well. But it also works because of the gamification element and the shareability. You don't feel like you're doing the app alone. And I think that built into apps is a really smart method because
mm,
how do you keep interested in something day after day after day? To me, it's when you do it together. And if you think about the human psychology, it's kind of like going to the gym. I don't know about you. I try to go to the gym. I don't. I'm not. I should be a bit bigger on the guns, but going by myself, it's a bit hard. I can only
mhm.
sustain it for so long. But when my mates go, hey, Irwin, I'm going, my missus goes, hey, can I come along? Or my friend goes, hey, I'm going to be there. You got to be there. Going together is always a better mentality. And so just playing on a lot of human psychology. So a lot of these apps, it's when you do it together, I feel there's a natural um, churn killer, I call it, right?
Mm.
It's a way just to keep people going longer. So that's it. Yeah.
That's a very interesting concept. I'm gonna have to look up that app later today. I don't think
Yeah,
we
for
have anything
sure.
like that in the States. So they pay you for being responsible, essentially.
Yeah, so it was actually really smart, and so this is where the gamma. It's actually what I call reverse gamma. It's reversing a punishment. So
Yeah.
it was based on the human psychology that if I told you, Patrick, to drive safely, else I'll punish you. We know that punishments don't work. I tried it on my children; it doesn't work. I promise you, it doesn't work, right? But if I said you get a reward, I'm going to pay you this much, couple of cents or whatever it is. But because you didn't do well, I'm actually going to take away a significant amount and only just reward you a little bit. Then I go, oh, I don't want to lose something, right? So therefore, I comply, sort of thing. And I think it's
Mhm.
just using human psychology in a very different way.
Yeah.
Very smart. So yeah.
Very smart. That's cool. That's very cool. Well, listen, I
Mm.
know it's pretty late for you. Where can folks find out more about the work that you're doing with Conversion Cow?
Yeah, for sure. If you'd like to connect with me personally and directly, feel free to jump on my LinkedIn. I'm very active there. Irwin, as in Steve Irwin, Irwin, and How, as in how do you do, pronounced, but spelled Hau. So check me out on LinkedIn, or you can check out ConversionCow, COW.com, as in beef up your website and milk your website for more leads, or Chromatix, so CHROMATIX.com.au. That's it.
Awesome. Erwin, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
No, thanks, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on Apptivate, powered by Remerge, global leaders in helping apps drive growth and retention.